Baltimore won the toss and is deferred, so that means that Justin Tucker will tee it off at the 35-yard line. Arguably the best kicker in all of the National Football League. Corey Grant back deep to receive for the Jaguars. Well, both teams have talked about getting off to quick starts, and for Jacksonville, they'll get the first opportunity today to get off to a quick start offensively after Gus Bradley's team was beat up last week by the San Diego Chargers. So we are underway from Jacksonville, and Grant will take it at the goal line, and he muffs the kickoff. It's rolling around, it's loose, and it does look like the Jaguars have recovered. It looks like Aurelius Ben was able to fall on top of it at the last moments. Well, this isn't the way you want to start a football game.
No, not at all, especially, Tom, after talking to the staff and this team after what happened last week. Last week on both sides of the ball got off to terrible starts, and you just don't see that very often. On a kickoff return, that should be easily handled, but Jags very lucky to get that ball back even though they're on their 10-yard line.
Well, terrible field position to start for Jacksonville. There is Blake Bortles. TJ Yeldon gets the start in the backfield. Hearns is in motion behind the line of scrimmage, and already Baltimore showing blitz off the play fake. Bortles does have time, middle of the field, incomplete. It was intended for Allen Robinson, and it looked like there might have been some contact around the 23-yard line. Well, Blake Bortles last week threw for 329 yards. The problem is that he is 0-9 when he throws for 300 yards or more.
I think the key number there is 50 passing attempts, and he's up there in the top 2 in the league in passing attempts per game. I think it's evident that for him to be in his wheelhouse, they need that running game. 30 attempts or less with a productive run game, that's going to be where they want him.
On second down from the 10-yard line, the handoff goes to Yeldon, and he is wrapped up by Brandon Williams almost immediately. He'll get a couple yards up to the 12-yard line. Let's take a look at the Jags offense. We'll begin with their offensive line, which is in flux once again. Shatley starts at the center position for the injured Brandon Linder. We'll watch that, although they are used to each other. Joko moves to the left tackle. From a skill standpoint, they got to get Allen Robinson involved. We know that, but Julius Thomas is also a weapon at the tight end spots. Facing the first third down, it's 3rd down and 7. Last week, 2 for 11 on 3rd down opportunities. Bortles slings it to the near side, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Allen Robinson. And the Jaguars will be forced to punt. So a 3-and-out to start the afternoon for Jacksonville.
No, that's the look that you want. Allen Robinson last week, they mixed up the coverage on him quite a bit, and a lot of times shaded the free safety over to his side. That time it was straight up single coverage on Sharice Wright, and I feel like Robinson won that route. You need a better ball right there and convert on your first series of the game.
Well, the always dangerous Devin Hester, the 34-year-old, back deep to receive. And he should give the Ravens good field position. He calls for the fair catch at the 48-yard line. So Baltimore will indeed have solid field position. Joe Flacco is as unflappable as you will find. He's coming off a great come-from-behind victory last week in which he was 25 of 45. 17th consecutive game with 30-plus pass attempts.
They want to get the running game going, but they also realize this is going to be a passing team. You got a top-line quarterback. You've got a lot of weapons. They feel this is the fastest skill position group they've had here at receiver in recent memory. So I would expect them, yes, they're going to want to get that run game going, but expect a heavy dose of pass throughout this game.
Well, this is the best field position to start a drive this year already for the Ravens. The handoff goes to Forsett, and Forsett gets 1. Ravens offense looks like this. We'll begin with the offensive line. And the offensive line, they've talked about these rookies. Ronnie Stanley, the first-round pick, has been outstanding. Alex Lewis has really learned the position on the fly. That's been a big boost. From a skill standpoint, well, Steve Smith Sr. back after the Achilles injury and looking very sharp. 2nd down to 9 after a gain of 1. Empty backfield. Flacco to throw quickly to the right, incomplete. Intended for Steve Smith Sr. in and out of his hands. Take a look at the Jaguars defense. Malik Jackson over from the Broncos. Had a solid week last week. Can he continue it this week? Well, Dante Fowler also had a great week. The youngster combining with Ngakoue to get pressure on the quarterback. Posluszny was active in the run game last week. He'll have to be active again. And Jalen Ramsey is evolving as an outstanding cover corner. for the Jags.
Steve Smith Sr. in the slot right here, trying to get a matchup on linebackers.
And on third down, Flacco to throw, middle of the field, incomplete. He was either looking for Dennis Pitta or Steve Smith Sr. He short hopped Steve Smith Sr. and maybe threw it behind Dennis Pitta. So both teams with a 3 and out to start the day.
Yeah, they saw what San Diego did last week, and what they did was a really good job of scheming the Jaguars up and putting their skill players inside so they could work out on linebackers. I think coming into this game, I think any smart coordinator, what they have to do is make the other team prove that they fixed the mistakes from last week. And that time, you saw on this drive 2 good coverage plays by the Jacksonville linebackers to get off the field.
Mark Trestman, the offense coordinator for the Ravens, told us that yesterday. He said that's what the first few plays are for, is just to see if they've adjusted. There is a flag down on this punt as the ball rolls inside the 5-yard line. Gene Steratore is the referee for this afternoon's ball game, the veteran official. Now he's coming over to the near sideline to talk to Gus Bradley, so they're going to bring the football back.
The kick, holding, kicking team number 46. 10-yard penalty replay, 4th down.
All right, so that negates a 48-yard punt. Morgan Cox is the long snapper, and he was called for the hold. So Gus Bradley says, boot it again. There's John Harbaugh in his 9th season, 79-51, 10-5 in the postseason. And Gus Bradley said by Wednesday his team had forgotten about last week's loss to San Diego. So here's Sam Cook to punt again. And again we've got movement and a flag from the near side. Well, penalties were a big deal last week for the Ravens, or excuse me, for the Jaguars.
False start, offense, number 46. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
But today it's the Ravens.
Yeah, 2 in a row you're going to see right here. And they're going to say that quick movement, the head bob, is what drew the Jaguars off sides. I think Gus Bradley, good break here because they were looking at starting this drive inside their 5-yard line and now getting pushed back. They might have a little bit better breathing room to start their next drive.
Yeah, that was a point of emphasis as far as the officials go. So Rashad Green will field this football at the 24. Already better field position after the 48-yard punt earlier was negated to the 30-yard line. So not much for both teams to start their initial drives. Well, already it's a 27-yard gain for the Jaguars because of the penalty. The original punt would have put them back inside the 5. Here's Yeldon running to his right, and he gets 3 yards. Let's take a look at the Ravens defense on the second drive for the Jaguars. Defensive line, well, these guys are really active, and Timmy Jernigan, John Harbaugh said he's different than what we normally have had at the DT position. C.J. Mosley, he moved inside even more to middle linebacker, 8 tackles so far this season. And Ladarius Webb moving to the free safety position, so he and Weddle combine to give them some pretty good center fielders. On second down at 7. Bortles underneath Mercedes Lewis, and he is taken down by Zach Orr. Get the CBS Sports app for inside access to breaking news and expert analysis of your favorite team. It has everything you need. Download the CBS Sports app today. Jaguars facing a third down and 1.
That's usually, I think, would be Chris Ivory territory, but right now TJ Yeldon in the game in shotgun formation.
Quick step for Bortles to the outside. Pass is complete and a first down. Jimmy Smith in on the coverage for the Ravens. All right, so Allen Robinson getting involved a little bit here.
You don't see this a lot from this offense. It's a 3-step route, a one-on-one, just a quick out against Jimmy Smith, and that was good timing. You know, you want to hit that route just as Robinson is coming out of the break. You see how tight that window is right there, and I have to say so far, good decisions, not pressing the ball down the field, but some short passes, putting them in a good third down situation.
And nice to see them getting Robinson involved. Here's Ivory for the first time in 2016 in a cutback inside the 47-yard line. Mosley makes the tackle, so a gain of 4. Well, he had all of it pent up, and he was ready to go these last couple of weeks. He needed this run.
A lot of excitement to see number 33 in there. Julius Thomas gave a great block on the outside linebacker. And you think of Ivory as a downhill runner, but right there showing some great vision getting to the outside.
1,000-yard rusher last year. This time nothing going. He loses 2 on the play. All right, let's take a peek at Arch's angles for this afternoon and what you're looking for.
Well, first things first, you know, Allen Robinson is the superstar. 14 touchdowns a season ago. He's been blanked so far this year versus Jimmy Smith. Suggs and Jernigan against Jokel and Reed up front at the line of scrimmage. If you want to run the ball, you have to take care of these 2 players. And I think for both defensive secondaries, stopping the big ball. Both offenses want to push it down the field. They have good receivers to go get the ball. You have to win that big play matchup.
Well, 5 minutes into this first quarter, Bortles on 3rd down and 8. Here comes the pressure from the Ravens, and he is hit as he throws, incomplete. Well, excellent pursuit from the outside. Sharice Wright was in on the coverage.
You see Zach Orr right here, and he's going to beat the block of A.J. Cann, the right guard. You see T.J. Yeldon scan to the other side. Oh, excuse me, A.J. Cann with a pancake block. That was outstanding. I thought he originally got him beat, but a good recovery by Cann to protect his quarterback.
And Tavon Young hit Bortles as he threw that football. So now the Jaguars will punt the ball away. Devin Hester again back deep to receive. And he lets this one bounce over his head, and boy, does it take a Jaguars bounce to the 5-yard line before it's stopped by Ben. So Joe Flacco up against the wall when we return from the 5-yard line. Naval Air Station Jacksonville, located about 4 miles from downtown. 23 civilian and active duty personnel are employed on the base. Tomorrow, see why Kevin Can Wait is now TV's #1 new comedy. Kevin James is back tomorrow after The Big Bang Theory, only CBS. Well, back here at Jacksonville on a warm September afternoon. Somewhat of a quiet start on the offensive end for the Jaguars, their first 2 series, and the same for the Ravens on their initial series. Joe Flacco will have it 1st and 10 from the 6 of Baltimore. 9:45 to play here in the first quarter. Terrence West is in for the first time. He had a pretty active second half last week against the Cleveland Browns. Little offset I formation. Max Williams in motion. And off the play fake, Flacco to throw from his end zone. Pass is complete to West. And West is out of bounds at the 14. Posluszny in on the coverage. Telvin Smith was there as well.
I think if you look at last week and maybe a little bit this week so far, the offense came out a little sluggish, and they're still trying to find their way. And I think you have to remember that, you know, Flacco's coming off of that knee injury. Steve Smith Sr. hasn't had a lot of practice time. Mike Wallace trying to learn the offense. Brashad Perriman trying to figure things out. Oh, and we've got 2 rookies on the offensive line.
Well, middle of the field, pass is complete to Perriman, and then he loses it. Now they're going to say incomplete. He never tucked.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
He never tucked and then got into the act of running, according to the officials.
I think it's a good call because what we're trying to do now, Telvin Smith coming over here making a great play and a great read, you got to do it in real time. And in real time, it didn't look like he came down with a catch. See, right before he never had control of the ball, right before he puts the other foot down. It's good recognition by Telvin Smith to come over and knock that ball loose, and a good call by the officiating crew.
So 3rd down and 2. Fans here in Jacksonville didn't like that call, but that is another one of those points of emphasis that they've really tried to put a stamp on this year. 3rd down and 2, Flacco to throw to the far side of the field, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Mike Wallace. He was one-on-one with Jalen Ramsey. For a first-round pick, Ramsey has really done a nice job for the Jags.
You can already see, Tom, in 2 games that he has flashes of being a big-time corner. On the line right there, you see the speed from Wallace, great catch-up speed right there for Ramsey, and then playing the ball. Playing that right arm of Wallace, swiping it, having perfect timing, and that's exactly what you want to see out of your top pick.
Well, the 2015 Pro Bowl punter Sam Cook is on to punt from his goal line. Second punt of the afternoon. Rashad Green back to receive, and Green at the 42, and he is stopped immediately by Tavon Young. Nice special teams tackle by Young. We've got a flag down. Well, Gene Steratore and his crew have had somewhat of an active first quarter to begin.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 31. 10-yard penalty. First down, Jacksonville. Timeout.
Well, an illegal block in the back will push the Jaguars back even more. There it is, Davon House. Didn't seem to bother Young, who made a nice tackle. Well, Jacksonville will have the football for the 3rd time this afternoon. No score, 8:53 to play here in the first quarter. Along with Adam Archuleta and Chris Fisher, I'm Tom McCarthy. Chris Ivory got his feet wet on the last series. He's back in, and he'll take the football from Bortles, try to get to the edge, and he gets a couple yards up to the 32. Your weekend starts on Thursday when the Miami Dolphins battle the Cincinnati Bengals. Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. Bengals are playing the Broncos as we speak. They're already on top of Denver. Andy Dalton has only completed 1 pass here this afternoon, but Jeremy Hill has run for 65 yards so far against the Broncos defense.
And that's a feat in and of itself. Now, I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on Miami. What kind of football team
ever evolving
they're going to be this year.
Second down at 8. Bortles to throw to his left, and it's nearly intercepted. Intended for Julius Thomas.
What? This is exactly how you play the 3-step passing game. That was a perfect reading of the eyes and break on the ball for Correa, the young rookie out of Boise State, and that could have been a big one going the other way.
Special teams the last couple weeks getting a chance to play. Look at his career numbers at Boise State. 20 sacks. He was certainly a load to deal with. It's 3rd down and 8. A little bit of motion from the outside as Bortles sets up in the pocket, looking long, middle of the field, and he overthrows his intended receiver, Marquise Lee. Jimmy Smith was in on the coverage, but Lee had a step or so on him.
Yeah, I think Bortles knows it. I'm not sure. It looked like the ball came out of his hand a little bit funny. It seems like there was some flutter to that ball. I don't know if somebody hit his arm, but man, when you get a step, and that's what they want, Marquise Lee, the fastest of these wide receivers, who coming out of the college was one of the best run-after-the-catch receivers you're going to see. You have a step on Jimmy Smith, that's when you have to connect.
Well, 3rd punt of the day by Nortman. Hester back deep inside the 25, calls for a fair catch. And he'll take it at the 23-yard line. So the Jags very close to connecting on this last pass play, just out of the reach of Lee. No score when we come back. Crockett Gilmore was in motion, and the handoff is given to Mike Wallace, running to the near side up to the 30-yard line. It's a gain of 6 on the play. Telvin Smith makes the tackle. Well, so far, Joe Flacco is 1 for 5 passing. Last week, he started 8 of 19 against the Cleveland Browns, and he needs to get the same kind of jump start here this afternoon.
Yeah, I think you can see they're still feeling themselves around in the passing game. And what last week the difference was they started to get the ball to Dennis Pitta. I think he was the guy that really got them some momentum and then started taking attention away from Cleveland's defense, and then they attacked downfield.
Well, here's Forsett to the right side. He'll get 1 before he's upended. Telvin Smith again. He's been very active here in the first quarter. All right, so here comes Dennis Pitta. We talked to him yesterday with Joe Flacco. These guys have a great relationship, and you can see it just by the conversation that we had with them.
Yeah, you know what? They have a great chemistry. I still think it's pretty unbelievable that Dennis Pitta is even playing this season after what he had to do to come back. But he was the guy last week. 9 catches, 102 yards. 5 of those catches, Tom, went for first down. So got to watch out and be accountable to where Pitta is on the field.
3rd down and 4. A little pressure coming from Jacksonville. Flacco to the middle. Pass is complete to Wallace, who breaks a tackle and is taken down at the 43-yard line. Devon House makes the tackle for the Jags.
I tell you, that's a pretty good play from Dwayne Gratz, the slot corner. And you see Wallace, really good job of catching that ball with House all over him. But if Gratz doesn't make that play with the speed of Wallace, that thing might be touchdown city.
From the 43, 1st down, Flacco to throw. Looking middle of the field, pass is complete. He's got Pitta inside the 45. Let's get an update in New York with JB.
Eli Manning has another weapon.
Yes, he does, JB, to go along with Odell Beckham and Victor Cruz. This is rookie Sterling Shepard for the 27-yard touchdown from Eli Manning. Giants are up 14-3 over Washington early.
Back to Tom, Adam, and Chris.
Boy, you have 3 receivers that could do that. If you're Eli Manning, you are salivating at that kind of offense. Giants have won 5 of the last 6 against Washington. The Redskins are reeling right now. 1st down from the 44. 2 tight ends set on the left side for the Ravens. They go to the outside. Steve Smith Sr. wide open inside the 30. Hurdles over a defender and is down to the 22-yard line. They are so happy that he decided to come back for 1 more year because he has really been a great leader for the Ravens.
Yeah, still not 100%, but you can't give him that much room. Look at the inside of that zone. And that's just a really good job of Flacco understanding where that window is. Poor recognition for the linebackers of Jacksonville. You cannot give Steve Smith Sr. that much room in the middle of the field to work.
Handoff goes to Terrence West, who's running left. Posluszny makes the tackle. Well, Steve Smith Sr. 10th all-time in receiving yards as a flag comes in. We said an Achilles injury last year on November 1st. They say that one side of his leg is thinner than the other, so that's why he's still coming back from the physical demands of an Achilles tear.
Yeah, a little bit of atrophy, and the fact that he hasn't had a ton of work in the offseason to get the chemistry. And look, your 2 best players, Flacco and Steve Smith Sr., coming off of major injuries last year. It's going to take some time.
Play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 91. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, 1st down.
Well, Ngakoue is called for the unnecessary roughness after the play, the rookie. And that's a tough penalty to swallow if you're the Jags because that moves the ball to the 9-yard line of Jacksonville.
He did not like Crockett Gilmore driving him back 10 yards into the defensive secondary. And I think that's just Crockett Gilmore doing a good job of playing all the way through the whistle and saying, hey, if you're not going to get off the block, I'm going to keep blocking you all the way downfield. And then you compound the error and tack on extra yardage with the personal foul.
Well, red zone opportunity for the Ravens. The Jaguars have given up the most red zone plays coming into the NFL. This is the 42nd. The handoff goes to Forsett. And Forsett to the 7, a gain of 2.5 on it.
Here's that last play at the end of this is the block. Crockett Gilmore engaged all the way downfield. He's not stopping. You see there at the end, you see that little punch. It wasn't that bad. I mean,
well, those extra little plays the NFL is keeping an eye on this year. 2nd and goal from the 7. Flacco to throw again. He can also run if he needs to. He doesn't want to all the time, but he pumps once, goes to the end zone. Touchdown, Ravens! A 7-yard run for Joe Flacco, and Baltimore is on the board.
The simple 4-man rush. And this isn't Aaron Rodgers we're talking about. This is Joe Flacco. You got Fowler here, and you got Avery Jones right there. Fowler gets way up the field. He can't retrace his steps. And there's no second layer of support. Not every day that you see Flacco with the knee brace running to the end zone uncontested.
He said he wears the knee brace for no other reason than to just keep the knee stable. He said, I probably don't need it. He said, I don't really feel the torn ACL anymore. There's a little soreness from time to time, but that is it. Tucker is Mr. Automatic. He's never missed a point after. Joe Flacco caps an 8-play drive with a 7-yard run, and the Ravens on top 7-0. Well, we talked about Joe Flacco being 1 for 5 in the air before this last drive. Well, he certainly found some safety valves. Wallace, Smith, and of course his tight end Dennis Pitta. 3 for 3 for 48 yards on the drive, and then he caps it.
Well, here's the touchdown. This is going to be a 4-man rush, and the back 7 do a really good job in coverage, and they match up pretty much all the routes. But here you go. You got a guy here and a guy here. Look at all this room. And then you got great blocks on the outside by Kamar Aiken and Mike Wallace, and that's pretty easy.
Well, you bring up Kamar Aiken. They talk about naming him a captain this week. You know, he had over 900 yards receiving last year. He's not getting the same kind of reps, but they say he is still being the leader that they need and still working hard to make sure that he is in ready shape. So here's Bortles down 7-0 with 3:45 to play here in the first quarter.
I think so far as you look at it, the protection up front has been pretty solid. Chris Reed, Luke Jokel neutralizing that Baltimore defensive front. I think just it's a matter of when you have your shots, you have to take advantage of them. And this offense lives and dies by throwing that ball down the field. And if you got an open guy, you got to be able to hit him.
Well, Tyler Shatley as the center has actually been okay for the Jaguars as well. I think the clock continued to run after the kick was stopped at the 22. And that's what the officials are chatting about right now. There's Gene Steratore, NFL referee, basketball official for college
game
hoops.
clock operator, please reset the game clock to 3 minutes, 47 seconds. 3:47, please. Thank you.
I think he's right with that. We kind of saw the clock moving, and it should have stopped at around the 3:47 mark. Bortles so far 2 of 7 for 10 yards. It's Marquise Lee in motion. Off the play fake, he'll roll the pocket. He likes to do this, and he dumps it off underneath to Lee. And Lee will get to the 25. Anthony Levine is there to make the tackle. We asked him about working in the pocket and out of the pocket. He likes to roll the pocket if he needs to.
Yeah, you go back. That was his comfort zone. His rookie year, I think part of it he was running for his life and didn't quite know exactly what was going on, so it was by necessity. But I think that you watch him, and some of his best throws and his most accurate throws are when he does get outside the pocket. I think defenses have done a good job of taking that away so far this year.
TJ Yeldon has hit in the backfield, but is able to break loose up to the 30. So he'll be a couple of yards shy of the first down. A basket of Ravens came over to make the tackle. Albert McClellan, who's starting for the injured Elvis Dumerville. We were unsure whether Dumerville would get a chance to play today with the foot injury. And I think they felt like another week would do him some good before they bring him back full bore. 3rd down and 2. Jags are 1 for 4 on 3rd down opportunities. Bortles looks to the near sideline for Robinson, who was able to get a step inside on Cerise Wright, and he's got a first down. Gain of 14.
Second time on 3rd down, speed out to Allen Robinson. Works the release, just a little hitch play, and that's good recognition, good chemistry by Bortles and Robinson going to that back shoulder. He sees that Wright is playing on top of him, and again, good timing. So far, outside the numbers on the quick stuff, he's shown a good chemistry and timing with Robinson. Watch out for that double move now. Great chance to set up these DBs and go deep.
On 1st down from the 44. Bortles under center off the play fake. He has time and wobbles one to the far side, and it's intercepted. A one-handed grab by C.J. Mosley, and Mosley will get up to the 40-yard line. There is a flag down. C.J. Mosley made an unbelievably athletic grab on that interception. Well, the officials have thrown a flag down. They're talking at the 34-yard line. Mosley with his second interception of the year.
It's a tremendous play from C.J. Mosley, who had the game clincher last week against the Cleveland Browns. Now, to play this play on a route coming from the other side of the field and drop into coverage and make that pick, you don't see a lot of inside linebackers making that move.
After the interception, there are fouls by both teams on the play. It's a legal block in the back. Intercepting team number 32. Dead ball personal foul. Original offense number 76. By rule, that ball will be placed at the spot of the Baltimore interception. 1st and 10, Baltimore.
All right, so Luke Jokel called for the foul. Eric Weddle called for the penalty for Baltimore.
Beautiful interception.
Yeah, he had total control of it after he tipped it and went to the ground.
Wow.
C.J. Mosley.
I don't think Robinson saw him right there, because if he saw him, you've got to make a play on that ball.
Right.
You can't allow him to come down with that interception, but I don't think he expected him to be there.
On first down, Flacco off the play fake. Throws to the near sideline, complete to Perryman. And Perryman up to the 44-yard line. Devon House makes the initial hit. Well, how about all these weapons that the Ravens have at the receiver position?
If they can get in sync and they can get their timing right and start to develop a trust, you know, I think they can be a pretty special group. Now, I don't think it's going to happen overnight, because there's so many new things that have to happen on this offense. And remember, you know, Flacco still, you don't think about it, but he still had an ACL injury a season ago. So that's a big part of it as well.
On first down for the 44. Couple receivers off to the right for Flacco. And the handoff is given to Terrence West, and West gets to the line of scrimmage before he is pushed back. Telvin Smith, Paul Posluszny, they were all there. Let's get an update in New York with JB and Tony.
A must-win for Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo 0-2 coming into this game. They hand the ball off to LaShawn McCoy for 24 yards. He's campus against a good Arizona defense. Buffalo up early, 10-0 over Arizona.
Back to Tom McCarthy.
Well, Rex Ryan certainly does need a victory. Yeah, LaShawn McCoy.
Shocker.
Have not started 0-3 since 2010, when they had 4 wins. On second down, quick toss to the near side to Kamar Aiken. Posluszny takes him down at midfield, so a gain of about 5. Clock winding down, 20 seconds and counting. That will probably be the final play of this first quarter. I think the feeling out process is over with for John Harbaugh and the Ravens. That'll be the end of the first quarter with the score. Baltimore 7, Jacksonville nothing. We'll return to Jacksonville. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We start the second quarter. Joe Flacco's 5 for his last 5. That's Justin Forsett, who runs into the backfield on 3rd down and 4. Jaguars showed blitz. Now they pulled back. Flacco to the near side. Pass is complete to Steve Smith Sr. He got in front of Jalen Ramsey, and he's got a first down at the 41.
Jacksonville front 4 so far in this game, Tom, has been silent. You know, they showed some flashes last week. Dante Fowler and Ngakoue with some speed stuff, but the offensive line right here has completely shut him out. And I know they want to get pressure with front 4, but you might have to think about sending somebody extra to get in Flacco's face.
Flacco's going to keep this one himself. He already has a touchdown. Now he slides inside the 35. They'll mark him right at the 35-yard line, so a gain of 6.
You don't see this very often, but again, when you got a defensive end crashing inside all the way down the line because he has to play that run back, or that cutback run by Forsett, that opens up the lane for Flacco. You don't think about it, but if they're going to give you an extra few yards, why not?
Flacco did a lot of that when he was in college at Delaware. He's not that kind of a quarterback anymore, but he certainly has it in his back pocket. Offset I formation. The handoff is given to West, and West gets down to the 30. So he's got a first down to the 30-yard line, a gain of 5. Terrence West had a couple of very good runs last week against Cleveland, particularly in the second half. He is a much bigger runner than Justin Forsett is as far as size goes. There's Mark Trestman, the second-year offensive coordinator. 13.5 to play here in the first half. Flacco has bought into the up-tempo style that Trestman has brought with him. In motion, the handoff is given to Perryman, and Perryman is hit inside the 30. It's a gain of maybe 1. Jonathan Cyprien read it well. It'll be second down for the Ravens.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for this defense is just assignment errors and misalignments and missed tackles and, you know, all the little things that go into playing defense. They've upgraded their talent, and I think when they do play sound, they're able to match up with most of the people in the National Football League. Now, I think still, you know, they need to see production from that front. They need to do a better job of harassing Flacco and the rest of the quarterbacks if they want to be a productive turnover defense.
Yeah, we really focused on the defense during our open today, just some of the problems they had last week. Pass play is complete to the outside. Von House was in on the coverage. Pass is complete to Pitta. That's his second reception of this first half.
Heavy play action today, and they're not running the ball that effectively, but most of the passes and most of these successful passes today are coming off of the play action. So I think they're trying to get those linebackers to be more aware of the passing windows so that they can massage that run as the game goes on.
Well, it's third down and 3. They need to get to the 20 for another first down. Flacco's been red hot throwing the football since starting 1 for 5. Looks to the outside, swings it to the outside. It's incomplete, or excuse me, it's complete to Justin Forsett, who's then run out of bounds. And it'll be a field goal opportunity for John Harbaugh's squad. Justin Tucker, who is 5 for 5 in field goal opportunities this year.
I think, you know, we've watched this team a couple weeks now. We've seen a lot of film on Jacksonville. Telvin Smith, I think, is playing great football. You know, he's active, he's penetrating in the run, and they've attacked him a little bit in coverage, and so far he's held up extremely well.
Well, this will be a 43-yard field goal attempt. Sam Cook is the holder. Morgan Cox, the long snapper. Good snap, good hole. Kick is on its way, and it is good. Baltimore on top 10-0. You talked about the Jags getting pressure. Well, their ends are getting beat up a little bit here. There's Dante Fowler getting knocked to the ground.
Welcome back to Jacksonville, where the Ravens currently lead the Jaguars 10-0 with 11:07 to play in the second quarter. In today's game, both the Ravens and the referees are honoring longtime NFL veterans. The refs are wearing a number 31 on the back of their hat to honor 23-year veteran Chad Brown, who had passed away in September. Brown umpired in the Ravens' first Super Bowl in Super Bowl 35, while the Ravens are wearing CB on the back of their helmets to honor longtime defensive assistant Clarence Brooks, who passed last Saturday after a bout with cancer. John Harbaugh called Brooks a coach's coach, a genuine guy, and someone who the players simply beloved. Both the refs and Ravens will wear the 31 and the CB respectively the entirety of the season.
Yeah, Chris, John Harbaugh told us a great story about Clarence Brooks, that when he was up at Syracuse, he would be the guy that all these young scouts, these young personnel people would come in and talk to, and he had time for everybody because all he ever wanted to do was talk football. Corey Grant will return this one through the 20 to the 26-yard line. An update in New York with JB.
Take a look at this miscue being taken advantage of.
Yeah, Adam Pac-Man Jones fumbled the punt return. Then he gets taken advantage of again by Emmanuel Sanders for the 41-yard touchdown. He goes into his backbreaker dance right here. This is what JB does in studio, boys. Timber up.
Hey, and they picked me up off the floor, Tom.
And I'm sure the day after is exhausting. Thank you, guys. We appreciate that. Well, Sanders came out this week and said, you know, I want to get some more passes.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
That'll make him feel better. Chris Ivory is in the ballgame on first down for Bortles. Down 10-0. Jaguars with the football, middle of the field. Pass is complete. He has Allen Hurns for first down at the 42. Well, the first 4 possessions for the Jaguars really have not been effective, to say the least.
No, but you know what? It's better than the first 2 weeks when they started out with a pick and giving the other team the ball in their territory. So they haven't had great efficiency, but they haven't had anything catastrophic. But they have to start turning and getting first downs and moving this offense and putting points on the board.
On first down, the handoff goes to Ivory, who's hit at the line of scrimmage and then falls forward for 1. The big thing with Ivory is that they were concerned about his game conditioning and how effective he would be for the long haul here this afternoon.
I still think, though, that it comes down to the play of the offensive line. And they need to be a nastier, more physical bunch. And the thing that I'm wondering is, do they have that big physical mentality and that big physical makeup to be a downhill running team that they say they want to be?
Ivory remains in. Flags come in. It looked like Terrell Suggs may have jumped on the near side. And Ivory gets up to the 45-yard line. I don't know if Suggs was able to get back.
Offside. Defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. Replay. Second down.
It's actually great listening to Dean Pease. He calls him Sizz like everybody else. So Sizz this, Sizz that for T. Sizzle. T. Sizzle was just a little jumpy there. There's Dean Pease, 13-year veteran of the National Football League. 5th year as the D coordinator for the Ravens. I want to talk about somebody who just wants to talk football.
He's got a lot of interesting players to kind of work with. Not as big as they've traditionally been here, but a lot faster, a lot more athletic.
Second down, Bortles off the play fake. He'll dump it off. He's got his tight end Lewis on the outside. Flags come in as it trails Lewis down to the 30-yard line. Flag is sitting at the 44. Let's see if this play is negated at all.
Holding. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
Well, that's Jeremy Parnell off the offensive line.
And I was just about to say what a great job he did kind of leading the charge and getting out here on the screen. You see him out there in space. Oh, yeah, and you see that left arm. He's wrapped all around Albert McClellan. Boy, and that's one where you're in great position right there. You know, you just have to get your body in front of there because Mercedes Lewis has plenty of room to get to the outside. And that's kind of the thing with this offense. When they make something good happen, it seems that it's always something bringing them back and killing anything good that they had going.
So now it's second down and 7. Bortles to the middle, leaping grabbed by Hurns, and Hurns lost the football, and they'll say incomplete. Eric Weddle with the hit.
Rolling on the field is an incomplete pass. Third down.
Eric Weddle is over from the San Diego Chargers organization, and he is a good hitter.
A big window right there, and a great job by Hurns beating the coverage, but that ball's too high. I mean, he had a perfect window to throw that in, and there is absolutely no reason for Hurns to have to go up in the air and take a shot like that.
Gus Bradley talking to the field judge. It's third down and 7. Bortles again to the middle. This is short, incomplete. Zach Orr, the linebacker, nearly intercepted it. But you can hear the boos here at Jacksonville.
They're not happy, but so far in this game, the linebackers for Baltimore are just right on it. It's like they know exactly which passing concepts are coming their way. I mean, you've seen 3 different inside linebackers make plays on the ball. C.J. Mosley, came down with the interception, but a lot of balls in the linebackers' hands of Baltimore. But I think this goes back to the play before. I think when you have Allen Hurns, who beats the coverage on a skinny post, you've got to put that ball right on his body, and you can't make him go up in the air like that.
Well, fourth down, and Nortman will punt. Devin Hester back deep to receive. Hester says, get away from it. It bounces inside the 20. There is a flag down on the near side, way away from the football as it goes out of bounds close to the 15. 8:40 to play here in the first half, and there have been a lot of flags so far. Here's Gene Steratore.
During the kick, holding number 36 of the return team. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down, Baltimore. Timeout.
Tavon Young on the penalty. Blake Bortles, just like last week, frustrated with the start of this ball game. Meanwhile, for the Ravens, they got a little rhythm going right now.
Welcome back into Jacksonville, where the Jaguars medical staff was just looking over Chris Ivory. He has suffered a knee injury, and his return is questionable, while linebacker Dan Skuta is also questionable with a hamstring injury. Tom?
All right, Chris, thank you. We'll keep an eye on both of those things. Obviously, Ivory is so important to this run game, as Flacco just completed his 9th consecutive pass, and that one of 15 yards to Mike Wallace. How about the story on Wallace, where his coaching staff, Mark Trestman, said he is a great example for all of the young receivers, that at his age, you can still get better as a football player.
Normally the fast guys are the last ones to refine their passing skills, especially late in their career. It seems like he's been the exception, and they are thrilled to have him on the team.
Flacco goes down under pressure from Malik Jackson, who came right through to take him down.
Speed rush inside Jackson, and I believe he beats Jeremy Zuta, who just can't get back there fast enough. They pull the backside guard, Marshall Yanda, for the play-action pass, and that's what they expected when they signed Malik Jackson, the high-priced, one of the biggest contracts in team history, coming from the Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos, and they need that inside push and that get-off. Great play by Jackson.
Pushes the ball back to the 15-yard line. It's second down off the play fake. Flacco's under pressure again, setting up the screen to his tight end, Dennis Pitta. And Pitta is shouldered out of bounds by Posluszny. He gets up to the 22-yard line, so he did get some yards back. It's a gain of 7.
I know sometimes he gets sometimes of a bad rap in coverage, but Paul Posluszny, when you turn on the tape, this guy still makes plays. I mean, he plays the run as good as any middle linebacker in the National Football League. You just don't match him up with track stars and sprint champions, but he's going to run sideline to sideline, and he's going to give you 60 minutes of physical football.
11 tackles last week. What about what he told us about the Travis Benjamin pass play last week in San Diego? I got to do a better job. He goes, I tried to get up too high. He ran right by me. On third down, Flacco, whistle blows. And the play is blown dead. A timeout called by Baltimore.
Prior to the expiration of the play clock, timeout, Baltimore. Their first of the half.
All right, so the first timeout.
It will be a 30-second timeout.
So first timeout for the Ravens. Tonight on CBS, the agents of NCIS Los Angeles start the new season on a new night. Join LL Cool J and Chris O'Donnell, NCIS Los Angeles, tonight after 60 minutes, only CBS. Well, Joe Flacco, so far, so good after a slow start this afternoon.
You know, when you watch him, they started out three-step passing game, kind of like they did last week, and they didn't really look in sync. But when they went to that play-action game, I think now he's starting to find his groove. He feels comfortable in those deeper drops and looking downfield and finding his open wide receiver. And not very often you see him on the quarterback keeper, Tom.
7-yard touchdown run. That's the only touchdown today. 11 of 15 for 110 yards for Flacco. On third down at 11. Flacco, quick toss to Forsett out of the backfield, and he is run down by Telvin Smith and Paul Posluszny. He'll gain a couple, and the Ravens will be forced to punt.
Boy, Telvin Smith again. I mean, he comes all the way from the other side of the field and basically walks down Steve Smith. You know, I think Telvin Smith he's really picked up his game, and they kind of challenged him in the offseason and throughout training camp. And, you know, maybe you can say he's getting pushed from Miles Jack, the second-round draft pick that everybody wants to see get out on the field. But I tell you, when you look at the tape, he has made a ton of plays for this defense early in the season.
Yeah, in fact, Gus Bradley said he made it a point to put him on second team at one point during preseason just to challenge him. Rashad Green inside the 20, bursts across the 35, inside Ravens territory, and pulled down from behind at the 37-yard line. Anthony Levine with the special teams tackle. Got to be careful when you tackle from behind like that, particularly in this day and age, but Levine was able to take him down.
Yeah, great instincts. It's too bad we don't get to see more Rashad Green in the offense as well, but he picks up a great block on the outside, and again, the punt return team clearing out the way.
42-yard return. It gives Jacksonville excellent field position to the 37-yard line with 5:45 to play here in the first half. There's Green. He certainly has the speed to do what you just saw. Again, T.J. Yeldon in the backfield for the Jaguars. And he'll take the handoff, runs right up the middle, and he drags Zach Orr. This is the best field position to start a drive for the Jaguars this year. Plays in the opponent's territory. Ravens with 9, and this was numero uno for the Jags. Second down at 2.
Ravens playing their safeties back. I think they know that this is a place where the Jaguars want to take shots.
And off to Yeldon. And he didn't get anything. In fact, he may have lost a yard on that play. So it'll be third down and 3. Ravens with 32 yards on the ground. Jacksonville with 24. Is it more important for one than the other to get yards on the ground?
I think you just want to be effective, Tom. And when you do choose to run, that you pick up at least 4 or 5 yards.
Ravens are a great defense. They do not allow on average more than 4 yards per run. Excellent reception on the outside by Allen Robinson. He's locked up one-on-one and was able to win that battle and get the first down inside the 20 to the 17.
Yeah, look at this pass. Bortles again on the move to his right. Look at the zip. Look at the precision he has there. And Sharice Wright almost comes in and has a chance to get an interception. But Robinson, with those strong hands, is able to wrestle it away from him. But he throws the ball differently when he's on the run.
It'll be first down from the 17. Ivory's back in. Bortles to throw. End zone incomplete. Broken up at the last moment. Eric Weddle stepped in. I think Weddle thinks he should have intercepted that football.
He was reading it all the way. You know, that's one thing. You got to know your personnel. Eric Weddle is going to be down here at the bottom of the screen, and he's just reading Blake's eyes the entire way. And if you give him a chance, 20 career interceptions to read the quarterback's eyes, he's going to jump routes and make a play.
Spends the offseason playing basketball and also playing softball. If it weren't for an eye injury, he might be a Major League Baseball player when he was young and not a football player. Bortles on the slant to Lee, and Lee down toward the 10. He'll be about 3 yards shy of the first down. Mosley in on the tackle for Baltimore. Zach Orr was there as well. Well, Marquise Lee has turned into a solid weapon for the Jags these first few weeks, and partly because of the way Robinson has been covered.
I think they need more out of him. He's the fast guy, and he's the guy to be able to threaten and scare teams and to get in and out of breaks and create those yards after the catch opportunities. I don't know if he's been able to be used as much in the way they expected to be able to use him.
They're down at 3. Bortles steps up in the pocket, middle of the field. Pass is complete to Robinson. He's got the first down. Sharice Wright in on the tackle. Gain of about 6, depending on the spot, but it'll be first and goal from the 5.
Tough coverage on Sharice Wright on the shallow cross. He needs to get help inside from C.J. Mosley, because it is tough to cover a wide receiver running away from you across the middle of the field. That time Mosley took a little bit of a false step, and that's what opened up that window for Bortles.
Ravens defense was solid from the end of the first quarter on last week. They did not allow a touchdown to the Browns after the first quarter. Here's Ivory down to the 3. So it'll be 2nd and goal. Lawrence Guy stepped up to make the tackle for the Ravens. So Ivory, who had a little bit of a knee issue earlier in this game, seems to be fine. Hard-nosed runner.
What did Greg Olsen say when we asked him about the Baltimore front seven? He brought up the goal line, right?
Right.
Now, there's just something about not only the Ravens, but the entire AFC North, that when you get inside the 3-yard line, that it's almost impossible to try and run the football in there. So I don't know if he was just being coy with us, but maybe expect a little play action here.
Well, we have reached the 2-minute warning here in Jacksonville. Ravens on top 10-0. This is a territory where the Jaguars have been very good since the start of 2015. 54 points scored in the last 2 minutes of the first half. Second most in the NFL to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Playing against the stout Baltimore defense on 2nd and goal from the 3. Hearns in motion. Off the play fake, Bortles rolls the pocket, throws on the run. Pass is complete. Allen Robinson, touchdown Jacksonville.
Allen Robinson is a down-the-field jump ball receiver. But on this play, he showed technical route running to get the separation and come down with that ball. And that's one of the parts of his game. Look how he pushes right inside, that quick stop and a pivot right back out. And then Bortles again on the run to his right, zips the ball, puts it in a perfect location. Exactly how you want it done on the goal line.
Last week they told us that Robinson has really worked on that technique, that Hearns was much more gifted in that category, and Robinson has really had to work with Hearns to get that technique down, and you just saw it right there. Myers on for the point after, and it is good. Allen Robinson targeted just 5 times in week number 2. He's been targeted 9 times today, including on this last touchdown pass. It's 10-7. Ravens lead is to 3. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on the NFL Network. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. So Robinson's 3-yard touchdown reception, his first touchdown reception of the year. 8 plays, 37 yards. That's an indication that people are really targeting him one-on-one. It's the first points the Ravens have given up in 77 minutes and 39 seconds of game time, dating back to the Browns game last week in the first quarter.
You know, what's interesting is that a lot of the passes today to Robinson has featured him in the underneath stuff, in the quick game. So not quite the downfield threat that he's been the last 2 seasons.
Devin Hester lets that ball go out of the back of the end zone. So the Ravens, with 1:55 to play, will get the football back. Robinson decides not to choose the guy on the field. He just let it fly after that touchdown. Matchup today is 2 of our favorite cities, Jacksonville and Baltimore. Jacksonville, they've done so much work at this stadium, and it continues. Phase 2 of the reconstruction's taking place outside the yard right now. It'll be first down for Flacco. Up 3, 10-7. Waning minutes of the first half. Jalen Ramsey with a good hit on Forsett to knock him back after he made the catch at the 27. They'll give him 2 yards.
Well, one thing you can say about Ramsey is he may be a DB, but he's not afraid to throw his body around. You know, he played inside at nickel in the Green Bay game, but because of the injury to Prince Amukamara, who I think was a huge blow, now they moved him back outside.
Flacco has completed his last 13 pass plays as he gets Pitta on the outside up to the 32. Puzlesny, he gets into these sort of routines, doesn't he, Flacco? I mean, sometimes he's so precise with his passes. Facing a 3rd down.
They did pay him $120 million.
Well, they did. 13 straight completions. 14 is the record. He has it. And he steps up to the pocket, and Perryman drops the pass at the 35. that would have been a first down. A flag comes in late at the 28. I think Perriman may have heard some footsteps as that pass was coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Offense, number 90, contacted the quarterback's helmet. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Boy, that one hurts. Malik Jackson, they would have stopped him. Instead, it's an automatic first down.
It does. You had a great speed rush off the edge. And then Jackson with the hand up, hands to the face of the quarterback. Was that a vicious blow? No, but it was hands to the face of the quarterback. It's got to be disappointing.
Ball spotted at the 47-yard line. So Flacco with 2 timeouts left. 56 seconds to play. He's got plenty of time. And he gets Pitta sliding down. He also has a kicker that has a 61-yarder as a long.
Second charge timeout.
Baltimore uses timeout. 51 seconds left to play here in the first half. Ravens up 10-7. 10-7, Ravens on top. Flacco just completed his 14th straight pass without an incompletion because of the penalty. The Perriman one doesn't count. So he ties his own record at second down with under a minute to play, trying to get it to field goal range, maybe some more. He's got Pitta, and Pitta's able to dive toward the sideline. Gratz was in on the coverage, and they'll mark him at the 41. It's a gain of 8. There's Tucker. I mean, they're getting closer to his field goal range. He has got a great leg.
The Jaguars are playing 2-deep coverage and making sure that they put a top to the defense and don't give up a cheap play right before halftime. But Flacco says, hey, we have plenty of time. I'm just going to check the ball down, get me a first down. We know we have a weapon in a kicker. You better think that shots here in the next few plays are coming. They're going to find a way to work the middle of the field, downfield, and try and get a big play.
15 straight completions. It's a new Ravens record. Flacco to the left side, complete again. That's 16 straight. Perriman out of bounds. They'll mark him at the 34. They have 1 timeout left, 39 seconds to play. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on the NFL Network. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. I mean, this is comfortable territory right now for Mark Trestman and the Ravens, isn't it? The way the clock sits and the way Flacco's running this offense.
Yeah, sitting in great shape. And remember, they get the ball back before halftime, so a chance here to double up on some points if they can get in the end zone.
Flacco to throw again. Pressure from behind, and he loses the ball! He fell back on top of it. Ngakoue came from the backside, and a timeout called by the Ravens. Now it's a little more uncomfortable. 28 seconds to play, first half. We'll be back right after this. '30th sack fumble in the Gus Bradley era, the most in the NFL during his time. Ravens up 10-7, third down and a little less than 10. No timeouts left, 29 seconds to play. Pass is complete on the near side to Chris Moore. He did not get out of bounds. It'll be fourth down. They've got to hurry and get Tucker into this game to try to long field goal. Ramsey did a great job keeping him in bounds. This will be a 57-yard field goal attempt. His career long is 61. No timeouts left for the Ravens. The clock winding down, 5 seconds, 4. High snap, handled well. Kick is on its way. Does it have enough? It does not. A flag is down at the 33-yard line. Well, you cannot jump over any lineman, and if you did, that is a penalty.
Yep, I think that's exactly, Tom. And I can't quite tell exactly who it was.
It's an unsportsmanlike conduct leverage by the defense, number 56. By rule, the half will be extended with an untimed down.
Dante
First
Fowler,
down, Baltimore.
number 56, is what they're saying.
You can see him right there on the left side of your screen, and I don't know. You got to be smarter than that. I can't imagine that they installed that with him jumping over the lineman from a three-point stance, I can't imagine that was an installed play by their special teams. That had to be a complete freelance from Fowler. And the last thing you want to do is, you had a chance to go into halftime with no field goal, with no points on the board, and then you give one of the best. You're almost going to give him a free 3 points.
Second most accurate kicker all time to Dan Bailey. This is going to be a 42-yard field goal attempt. Good snap, good hole. Kick is on its way, and it is good. An untimed play. What a turn of events to end the first half. The Jaguars and Gus Bradley could have been down by 3. Instead, they're down by 6. Tucker does not miss a second time. 13-7 Ravens as we go into halftime. You cannot use leverage to get into the backfield, and that's what they're saying Fowler did, even though he didn't have anything to do with the play. Gus Bradley says you cannot do that. A point of emphasis in the National Football League. And as Adam said, that's kind of a rogue play. That's not a design play that any special teams coach would put in.
Now, Gus Bradley has to be furious, because that's something that just shouldn't happen. That's one of those boneheaded plays that you say, why do we do that to ourselves?
Yeah.
We have to be a smarter football team and understand the situation. And you just gave them 3 points going into halftime.
Well, they talked about that this week. You got to be smarter. The end of the first half, Baltimore 13, Jacksonville 7. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Ravens on top 13-7 as we get set to begin the third quarter here in Jacksonville. Well, it's time now for our first half highlight presented by DirecTV. He's got 17 straight pass completions, which is a Ravens single game record. But how about the 7-yard run by Joe Flacco? The block by rookie Ronnie Stanley, their first round pick, is what freed him up. It's just an incredible first half. The way the second quarter unfolded for Joe Flacco with 17 straight completions, 18 of 22 for 141 yards. I guess he's what we expected he would be during the course of this first half.
Yeah, I think they, after kind of a choppy start, trying to find their rhythm, then they went to the play action game, and I thought that's when he was able to throw accurate passes to his receivers. Now, I think when you look at both football teams are doing a really good job stopping the big play. These are two big play offenses, and the secondaries have played sound, and I think that's why we're kind of seeing a tight field position type ball game. Just a lack of big plays. I think the team that wins the big plays is going to win the game.
Well, Myers will kick off. The Ravens will get it back. Hester says we'll just take it at the 25. Well, all across the CBS family of networks, we're wearing the ties and the pendants representing Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. That's what the month of September is. It's also recognizing the great work that the folks do at St. Jude Research Center in Memphis, Tennessee. They do incredible work. Patients and family members are taken care of. They don't pay for any medical costs. They don't pay for any food, anything at all. And we are so happy to be part of the promotion of St. Jude Research Center in Memphis, Tennessee. So 13-7, Baltimore on top. Ravens will hand the ball off to begin the second half, and a burst to the 40-yard line by Terrence West. So a gain of nearly 15 to start the second half. This is the longest run of the season for the Baltimore Ravens.
That's what they're looking for. They want more explosive runs, and I think that's what you would classify as an explosive run. One thing I think you want to see is number 79, their rookie left tackle, get up into the next level, lead the way for his running back.
Well, they'll run it again. West one more time, getting across the 45 to the 46. Let's check in with Chris Fisher. Chris?
Thanks, Tom. John Harbaugh coming out at half said the Jaguars have been doing a great job on the play action. That's why they've been able to evade the Ravens' defensive pressure. And as far as the third down situation right now for the Ravens, just 2 of 7. Harbaugh says they have to do a better job of protecting Joe Flacco in the pocket, and they have to get that rushing attack going. Expect him to run more inside the tackles here in the second half.
Well, I guess we got an indication of that right out of the chute. It'll be 2nd down and 4. They've gotten Terrence West involved very quickly to begin this third quarter. Flacco again, 17 consecutive completions. It's a Ravens franchise record. He broke his own record, but it's another handoff to West, who lowers his shoulder and powers to the 48-yard line. Malik Jackson was there on the tackle for the Jaguars.
Tom, I think referencing John Harbaugh and saying that they have to run the ball better in the second half. And I think they want to do that so they can get more big plays down the field, because right now linebackers for Jacksonville, really for both teams, I think are doing a good job in coverage and closing up those windows. So the more you give those linebackers something to think about, that's going to open things up for Flacco to do what he does best.
All right, so 55 yards on the ground. They've come out gangbusters with the run game in the second half. 2 of 7 on third down conversions. As John Harbaugh told Chris, they need to get better protection, and Wallace is open on the outside and out of bounds at the 45-yard line. House in on the coverage for Jacksonville.
Boy, 3rd and 2. You got to challenge. You got to challenge these wide receivers. I don't know if House was thinking that's a great chance for them to maybe take a shot downfield, but you know, I guess that's the advantage of having speed like Mike Wallace. The DB has to respect him, but when you have 3rd and 2 and you're playing off coverage, that's just an easy throw for Flacco.
18 straight completions for Joe Flacco. The NFL record is 24, set by Donovan McNabb of all people. So another number 5 is in the mix here as Steve Smith Sr. gets inside the 25 to the 24.
I mean, this is almost a no-look pass for Flacco as play action hard to his right, turns his back to the defense, and he just trusts that Steve Smith Sr. is going to be right there in that window. He gets to the top of his drop and just fires it in there.
First down inside the 25, pass to the outside, and Forsett gets out of bounds. The 24 consecutive completions by McNabb is covering 2 games. The single game record is David Carr, who completed 22 passes against the Bills, tying Mark Brunell's NFL record for most consecutive completions in a single game. It was back in 2006. So Flacco's on 20 straight completions. It'll be 2nd down from the 24.
Tom, how about Jacksonville coming into this game? 1 pass breakup the entire season from this secondary. They got to start making plays on the ball. That's why they brought a lot of these players here on this defense, is to make those impact plays.
Spent a lot of money on the defense during this offseason, a lot of draft picks. Another completion to Steve Smith Sr. inside the 20. Cyprian will spin him down. And Flacco right now, not because of the franchise record in completions, but just overall, he's just picking apart the defense right now.
Yeah, he looks calm. He looks like he knows exactly where he's going. And the thing that really kind of stands out is it looks like he's starting to gain a lot of trust in these wide receivers, because he's getting back to the top of his drop and he's just letting it rip. And I think that's a good sign for the Baltimore offense.
3rd down and 5. They need to get to the 14 for a first down. 3 receivers to the right. Pitt is set up on the left side of the offensive line. Flacco to throw again toward the end zone. Caught! An incomplete. Wallace was out of the end zone when he grabbed it. He didn't get both feet in. And the consecutive completion streak ends at 21.
Good play by Josh Johnson, turning and running. And it just looked like Mike Wallace ran out of space, or was that? That looked like a drop.
Yep. He had it, and then it rolled off his hands.
And what a great throw by Flacco in a small little window. That ball, Mike Wallace going to want to have that one back.
Justin Tucker on for a 37-yard field goal attempt. Good snap as always, good hold, and it is good. Well, Joe Flacco's established a Ravens franchise record for 21 consecutive passes completed. Number 22 could have been 6 points, but it was dropped. Enjoying a 16-7 Baltimore lead with 10:21 to play here in the 3rd quarter. The field goal at the end of the first half and the field goal to begin this second half has really helped the Ravens. And obviously on the same foot has hurt the Jags. This will be the Jaguars' first possession of the second half. Grant back deep to receive. Tucker will kick it off. As we've seen a lot this year, the place kickers are just pooching the ball inside the 10 or the 5. They're trying to stop the return team from getting to the 25-yard line. Jaguars will have it first time in the second half when we return to Jacksonville. After a 9-play, 56-yard drive resulted in a 37-yard field goal, the Ravens up 16-7 here in the third quarter. And Blake Bortles, for the first time in the second half, will have his offense on the field. From the 22-yard line, Hearns in motion. Off the play fake, Bortles dumps it off to Hearns, who is upended inside the 25 by Sharice Wright. So a quick gain of 3. Sharice Wright stayed right with this.
Good play, good recognition by Wright, and target that thigh board right there. Offensive guys don't like getting hit in the thigh board.
Well, you were talking today, I mean, as a former defensive player, how hard it is actually to tackle somebody, an athlete coming at you. It does take perfect technique. Bortles will keep it. And he is wrapped up from behind and taken down. Matthew Judon, the outside linebacker, the rookie, makes the tackle. So it'll be third down for Blake Bortles.
The one thing you can say about third downs today for Jacksonville is they've been a lot shorter than they were last week. And they've done a better job with pre-snap penalties and staying more on schedule. Now, Allen Robinson has been the target du jour on the important downs here. They have him stacked up at the top with Hearns.
Bortles is looking that way. Now steps up in the pocket, middle of the field. Pass is complete. He's got Hearns up to the 44-yard line. Zach Orr came out of his linebacker position for the coverage. And that'll be a first down for the Jags.
You don't see a lot of this from Bortles. This is a high-low combination. They're going to bring Lee across on a shallow cross to clear out the middle. You see him step up in the pocket. Late comes Allen Hearns over the middle, and he delivers a good pass, an accurate pass to get a first down.
They are now 5 for 5 on 3rd and 5 or less this afternoon. Bortles to the left side overthrows Julius Thomas. It'll be second down. Second down at 10.
Well, I tell you again, the linebackers for the Ravens, C.J. Mosley, not respecting the run action. They have been in all of the windows here in the intermediate passing game for Bortles. And it looks like, I mean, they are inches away from getting their hands on the ball. Anytime Bortles goes inside the hash mark, they are playing a really good ball game, both against the run and the pass.
Just 125 yards of total offense for the Jags. Off the play fake, quick toss. And a first down for Jacksonville to the 45 of Baltimore. And that is Marquise Lee. You talked about Lee getting more involved in these kind of plays.
If you can get him in some run after the catch opportunities, that's where he excels. Boy, that's great recognition from Zachary Orr. The inside backer plays the run, comes out, runs inside out, and then puts a shot on Marquise Lee. But if they can design more ways to get Lee the ball and catch it and run with it after the catch, then he could be a dangerous part of this offense.
Just the 8th first down of the day for Jacksonville. Here comes the pressure from the near side. The handoff goes to Ivory to counter it, and Ivory is to the 43. Let's go to New York for an update with JB.
Hey, the Vikes were down 10-0,
But Sam Bradford drops back, goes to one of the best up-and-coming tight ends. Kyle Rudolph makes a great catch, 15 yards. Minnesota takes the lead, 16-10 over the Carolina Panthers.
9:43 in the third. Back to Tom McCarthy.
How about Tony talking about tight ends there? He finds a tight end, he's going to talk about him if he's going to make a nice reception like that.
They like to take care of their own, I guess.
Chris Ivory just limped off as Bortles brought the offense back together on second down. Yeldon is in the backfield. Pass is complete to Lee, and Lee on the outside, and he has daylight out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Bortles is now 10 for his last 11 in pass completions.
You're seeing a lot more of this when they're stacking these receivers. Lee is right here. He's going to come across the entire formation to beat man-to-man coverage, and there's no linebacker help inside. Again, Blake climbing inside the pocket, and that's exactly how you want to see number 11 with a football. Catch the ball, don't break stride, get upfield. Well executed.
Last couple years, he's been banged up. His first 2 years been banged up with hamstring issues, one after another. It's first down from the 23. Bortles watches the pocket collapse. He can run. He's going to. He finally tucks it, and he's got to slide close to a first down marker. Weddle came in and hit him as he was sliding, and Weddle's going to be called for the penalty. It'll be interesting to see this in real time, to see if Weddle had already started to go after Flacco before Bortles, before Bortles started his slide.
It all depends on how early Bortles started that slide. You know, they put Corey Grant in the backfield, their fastest running back, to try and get him on a wheel route. But that was a good rush. I think it was Terrell Suggs who came in there and made Blake pull it down.
Well, the officials are talking about it right now. One of the points of emphasis is to leave the quarterback alone when he slides properly.
For unnecessary rough. As the defensive player had committed to the tackle when the quarterback began his slide, and the contact was not to the quarterback's head. The result of the play is a first down, short. It'll be 2nd down and 1, Jacksonville.
2nd down and 1.
Right, you can see that, you know, Bortles started his slide late, and you can see Weddle already committed to the tackle, but pulled up. And you can tell he didn't hit him as hard as he could, and that's why they took away the flag.
9th play of this drive. The handoff goes to Yeldon, trying to get to the outside. Tripped up short of a first down. It was Weddle who hit him initially in the backfield and slowed him up.
Yeah, big-time play. I mean, one of the most versatile safeties that you're going to see in football. He plays deep. He plays up in the box. You're going to see him come all the way from the middle of the field on a disguise and just knife T.J. Yeldon at the outside of his thigh board, turn him up inside, and then the rest of that Baltimore defense comes inside and makes a tackle. You don't see a lot of safeties that could play back and also be effective inside playing the run.
Here we go.
It'll be 3rd down. Jacksonville 3 for 3 in these spots on the field. Play clock is down to 1. Bortles dumps it off to Lee. Lee trying to get the first down. He has it right at the marker, and they'll give him a half-yard beyond. Jimmy Smith in on the tackle. Boy, at first it looked like it was a broken play.
Look, it was a nice little play design. They motion Marquise Lee inside and make it look as if he's going to cross the formation. And then on the snap of the ball, he reverses outside, and he gets the step on his man in coverage, and then again, using that speed to get that 3-yard gain.
See, 6 for 10 on 3rd down conversions. They're 6 for 6 on 3rd and 5 or less. Now it's 1st down from the 12. That's Julius Thomas in motion to the outside. Bortles quick drop. He loves this play. Robinson leaping grab. Does he have it? Did he go all the way to the ground under control? The ball is loose. They're going to say incomplete.
This one's going to be, there's going to be a lot of talk about this catch, Tom. A lot of talk about this catch and what a receiver has to do as he's going to the ground, controlling the ball. Real time, in real speed, it looks like a catch.
Right.
He goes to the ground, he secures it.
Boy, it does look real time, as if he has that football. He has control of it right there to the ground. He's in bounds. And then it's knocked away.
I think you got to give that catch. He controls it. He goes to the ground. He spins on his back.
Jacksonville is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. Timeout.
So we've got a challenge. Gus Bradley's team down by 9. An important play when we come back. All right, so completing a catch. These are the parameters. If a player goes to the ground in the act of catching a pass, with or without contact, he must maintain control until after initial contact with the ground. There's initial contact with the ground. He's out of bounds, and then the ball is knocked loose. If control is lost and ball touches the ground before regaining control, pass is incomplete. If he regains control prior to ball touching the ground, pass is complete. After possession in bounds, it's not necessary for player to maintain control when landing out of bounds.
And I think that's the key one. For me, at no point does he lose control of this ball. This is a secured catch in bounds all the way As he rolls out of bounds at the end of the catch, the ball comes out. To me, this is a catch all the way. The eye test says it's a catch. The only question now, ruled incomplete on the field, are they going to have enough to overturn it and give him that catch?
Well, the officials waited and waited, and they pointed to the football as he went past the pylon, and it was pulled out.
You can see them running in there because they want to see if he regained possession, but I think clearly at no point was the catch in question until he rolled over out of bounds. I think they have to give him this touchdown.
All right, well, Gene Steratore is done with the folks in New York.
After review, it has been determined that the receiver processes catches, makes the completion, survives the ground before the defender knocks the ball out. The ruling is changed to a touchdown. Jacksonville will not be charged with the timeout.
The first points allowed in the second half this season by the Ravens defense. And for Robinson, who went without a touchdown the first 2 weeks, now has 2 this afternoon.
Really was a great catch out there by Robinson. And you had to know that this was coming because this is what they do. He is as good as it gets, one-on-one, catching the fade ball.
Myers is on for the point after. They make this a 2-point game. And Myers makes it a 2-point game. Allen Robinson, technique has been what he's worked on. Bortles says he's loved this pass play since he got into the National Football League. They certainly made it work. Jacksonville Beach, where you probably saw Chris Fisher running yesterday. You did not see me or Adam running yesterday, but Chris Fisher certainly ran. He did the physical fitness for our crew. Baltimore will get the ball back after Jacksonville scores. Hester will let that go out of the end zone. Let's take a look at Arch's angles. You nailed it with Robinson, how important he was today.
Yeah, early until that last touchdown, it was more in critical downs with 2 key first down grabs and then the big touchdown. They've limited the big ball, and we haven't heard Suggs or Jernigan, so you have to think that Jokel and Reed have held up pretty well. Now, here's the explosive play. Not a lot in this game. Baltimore, 2 of them, kind of under the radar plays to Steve Smith Sr., Jacksonville with 1 of them. I still think we're going to see more big plays in this game, and that will have a major impact on the outcome.
Well, Robinson's such a big day today. Only 3 catches last week against the Chargers. By the way, Dean Blandino from the National Football League said that Robinson was able to maintain control through the ground before the ball was knocked loose out of bounds. So Gene Steratore, the referee, and his crew did an excellent job.
Offense number 73, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
So a penalty against the Ravens. With NFL Game Pass, watch the games you missed with condensed games in 45 minutes or the full broadcast versions. Start a free trial today at NFL.com/Game Pass. 16-14, Baltimore on top, along with Adam Archuleta and Chris Fisher. I'm Tom McCarthy. John Harbaugh's team now with 5 penalties, the same amount as Jacksonville. Joe Flacco, who earlier established a franchise record 21 consecutive completions, is facing a 1st and 20 from the 15. Changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Flacco, middle of the field, and Perryman can't come up with it. Threw it a little too high. It'll be 2nd down.
Well, again, great linebacker position underneath, and they're trying to take advantage of his size, 6'2". But you see Puslesny down there, you see Telvin Smith down there. Jonathan Cyprien got a great break on the football. No downfield window for Flacco to complete that pass.
Perryman, who was a college teammate of Blake Bortles. In fact, Bortles said, I've never exchanged jerseys after a game. He reminded me this week we're exchanging jerseys after this game. 2nd down and 20 from the 15. Handoff. Given to Forsett. House meets him at the 20. And he goes to the 22. He's shy of the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and long.
If you go back to last week against Cleveland in the offense, they came out after halftime and started throwing that ball down the field. And I thought that they just made a decision to say, we're going to attack corners. We're going to let our receivers go out there and win on one-on-one. Now, it's tough when you start your first drive with a holding penalty, but I think if they can get something going here on offense, we're going to see them start to attack outside, much like they did last week.
3 of 9 on third downs. That's important because they are tied for 4th in conversions this year in the NFL. Flacco, plenty of time, overthrows Pitta. Covered by Telvin Smith. It'll be 4th down. That's been his main target today. He has 8 different receivers, and Smith and Pitta have been the main targets.
Telvin Smith again, inside leverage on Pitta, plays it perfectly. And you can't play that any better than Telvin Smith played right there. The more and more you watch, the more and more you see number 50 making plays, run and pass.
4th punt of the day for Cook. It's low. Rashad Green will let it bounce inside the 40 and picks it up. He had a big run earlier, and not this time. Excellent special teams play by the Ravens and Maurice Canati. Bortles goes back to work, down 2. Well, Allen Robinson has certainly had himself a very nice first 3 quarters of this game.
And virtually no action last week against the Chargers, thrown at 10 times in this game. 6 catches, 50 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a lot of them being key third down situations. And then again, they don't get much better than that last touchdown. Beautiful play by Bortles and Robinson.
Bortles dumps it off to the middle, and he has his tight end up to the 33-yard line. C.J. Mosley in on the coverage. It's Julius Thomas who makes the catch. First catch of the day for Thomas. So there you are, 10 targets, 6 receptions, 50 yards. 2 touchdowns, though, important. He had not scored this year. Under 3 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Jaguars looking for their first win. Meanwhile, the Ravens are looking to improve to 3-0. It looks like they got a first down up to the 31-yard line. Ivory took the handoff. Chris Ivory, who did not play the first 2 games of this season, rushed for over 1,000 yards last year for the Jets. And he was one of the big signings this year by the Jags. They wanted to have him go 50-50 with T.J. Yeldon in the backfield. That's the plan, at least moving forward. On first down from the 36, we talked about in the open how important it was to have him in there for balance. Bortles rolls the pocket, dancing around, breaks a tackle, and dives forward to the 42. Bortles, like Flacco, they're both big quarterbacks, so it's hard to take them down.
Well, they're trying to move the pocket again. Heavy play action pass. Terrell Suggs, working on Julius Thomas right there, and Bortles evades him at first, but then the relentless pursuit from Terrell Suggs to kind of retrace his steps and get back to the quarterback. But they try to go downfield for a big play, but number 55 said, don't roll out to my side.
Yeah, Suggs was kind of quiet in the first half. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Off the play fake. Bortles rolls the pocket again. Everybody's covered, and he dumps it off to Ivory, who has the first down inside Baltimore territory. Well, I guess that's the part of the game where Bortles needs to continue to evolve, is to be able to check down and find the 3rd receiver or the 4th receiver.
Yeah, I think things kind of got messed up. To watch Bortles, he opens up to the wrong side here. Play action pass, and the running back goes the other way. So now it forces you to kind of improvise and dump it off to Ivory. But good open field tackle out there by Eric Weddle. Physical tackle to get Ivory on the ground.
I just thought that was a phantom play fake.
It's a unique play fake.
First down for the 49. Again, Ivory, and Ivory is hit behind the line of scrimmage and is able to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
I think they understand this is going to be a tough front to run the football on. Ever since maybe midway last year, they really made it difficult for teams to run the ball. They're so good up front. We really haven't talked about Timmy Jernigan, but Brandon Williams having a great season.
Quick pass to Julius Thomas to the 44. Clock winds down here in the 3rd quarter. And that will be the final play of the third quarter. Baltimore 16, Jacksonville 14. We'll return to Jacksonville after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. You know, we talked about Blake Bortles having 9 300-yard passing games during his career. They're 0-9, so a lot of his numbers in the fourth quarter are enhanced because they play from behind a lot. But this is only a 2-point deficit, and he has had a good third quarter to now come into the fourth quarter where his numbers are outstanding among NFL quarterbacks. Third down and about 5, and his ball is swatted away. It'll be fourth down. I think it was C.J. Mosley that got his hand up to knock that pass away.
That was a big swat. He was looking for Julius Thomas on a shallow cross. Weddle had pretty good coverage on him, but I thought it would have been a nice battle for if Thomas got his hands on the ball to see if he could outrace Weddle for the first down. But C.J. Mosley, again, you know, he has played a pretty complete game, I would say. He's been a force in the run game. You saw the interception earlier, getting his hands up there on a key third down.
Devin Hester back deep to receive, fresh off Adam arm wrestling his son yesterday. This ball is over his head and will bounce inside the 5 and into the end zone. So the Ravens will start at the 25. Last year, this was a very interesting matchup. Final play regulation. Blake Bortles was brought down with Jacksonville trailing and time expired. Elvis Dumerville was called for a face mask penalty. John Harbaugh couldn't believe it. It was a 15-yard penalty, gave Jacksonville a 53-yard field goal attempt. Jason Myers converted with no time on the clock to give the Jags a 22-20 victory. He may come into play today.
You never know. Well, that 3 points before halftime might play a pivotal part in this game.
Penalty on Dante Fowler set up a re-kick for Justin Tucker. He missed the first one, made the second. Flacco on first down, hands the ball off. Week 3 continues later today on CBS and for some of you on Fox. Then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. And tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Falcons and the Saints. There'll be a lot of points put up in that ball game.
I don't know. I thought that would have been the case last week, but then you had Saints and Giants playing it tight. I do think Matt Ryan looks a lot better this year than he did last year, so I think Falcons fans have to be happy about that.
Second down at 7 from the 24. Flacco with an arm signal out of the shotgun. It looked like there may have been movement by Ronnie Stanley on the left side of the offensive line.
False start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Stanley, the first-round pick, 6th overall out of Notre Dame.
I think you can clearly see him right there. Getting that kick step.
Little bit of a jump to try to...
That's an explosive kick step.
Stave off in Ngakoue.
Little uncharacteristic mistakes on offense here in the second half for John Harbaugh's football team.
Up by 2, the handoff going to Forsett. Flags come in. He gets across the original line of scrimmage up to the 22. Telvin Smith came in to make the tackle. Clock stopped. 13:46 to play and an injured Raven on the field. And it was Terrence West who was slow to get up, so Forsett will come back in for him.
Illegal use of hands, hands to the face, defense. Number 56, it's a 5-yard penalty attached to the end of the run, automatic, first down.
All right, so Dante Fowler is getting a little bit of an indoctrination today on the rules of football.
Oh yeah, both hands right there.
Yeah, clear as day for the official to pick up.
Yeah, that's it doesn't get much clearer than that.
Fowler, who last year was injured the first day of training camp, missed the entire year with a knee injury, worked his way back. He and Ngakoue are 2 young, outstanding defensive ends. Off the play fake, Flacco to throw. Out of the backfield, it's Forsett, and Forsett is taken down at the 31-yard line. Jonathan Cyprien up from his safety position to make the tackle.
Now, one thing I would say, watching both of these defenses, they've tackled really well. You know, there's not, you've seen Marquise Lee, get loose on some yards after the catch, but that wasn't because of missed tackles. But I think You know, as you look at Jacksonville in particular, and you kind of watch them over the last 2 weeks, you know, really limiting those big plays, and have had an excellent day tackling these wide receivers when they catch the ball.
They were switching as the handoff went to Forsett, but he stumbled forward up to the 34. They were switching on the defensive line. Third down.
Now, I'm actually a little bit surprised that Baltimore didn't get more yards, because nobody on that defensive line was set at all on the snap of the football.
And the Jags were fortunate because Forsett just looked like he tripped in the backfield. Forsett stays in. West is still in the sidelines. And now Forsett in motion into the backfield. Bunch formation on the near side for the Ravens. And Flacco throws to the near side, overthrows Steve Smith Sr., who thought maybe there was somebody behind him to make that catch. It'll be fourth down.
Yeah, I think this was a miscommunication, because Jacksonville was playing man coverage, and you're going to see Steve Smith Sr. here, and it looked like Flacco was expecting him to pivot outside. See number 89 come in there, and he just kind of sits down and stops, and it looks like Flacco expected him to go outside. Miscommunication.
Here's Cook, who kicks it low again, away from Green, and Green will field it inside the 15. And he is up to the 19-yard line. So that's where the Jags will begin again. Blake Bortles' team down by 2 here in the fourth quarter. Well, most games decided by 8 points or less since the start of 2015. Baltimore, 16 games. They're 7-9 during that time. And don't forget, they were without Flacco for a good part of that run. TJ Yeldon is in the backfield for the Jags. 11:54 to play. Off the play fake. Bortles to throw. And he dumps it off. He's hit as he throws. Pass is complete to Robinson. And Robinson will be stopped at the 26-yard line. Sharice Wright. The big man was backpedaling here.
Got a little bit of pressure. I see you put the hands up there. Make sure the officials know that Michael Pierce wasn't going to get a extraneous shot on the quarterback. But I think Bortles, you've kind of seen a different quarterback here after halftime. You know, he missed a lot of passes in that first half, but I think coming out here, he's playing with a lot of confidence, and he's not gun shy, and he's been able to find his receivers and make big throws.
Quick pass by Bortles, and the pass was nearly intercepted. It was a high pass. Jimmy Smith made contact, but there is a flag that sits at the 44.
That looked awkward at the snap, didn't it?
Illegal use of hands to the face defense. Number 22, 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Adam, at the last moment, Jimmy Smith came up to the line of scrimmage.
Well, it's a smart choice. Little jam, little offhand jam right there, and stabbed him right in the face mask. But I think Dean Pease wisely now choosing to put Jimmy Smith on Allen Robinson. It's been Robinson against Sharice Wright, and I think Robinson has got the best of that matchup most of the day. Now, Wright had a pretty good game against Buffalo, struggled early last week against Cleveland, but I think putting Smith on Robinson, the right choice.
Yeah, you got the same size basically between the two, as Bortles is dragged down at the 28-yard line. Well, we mentioned T-Sizzle, that he was kind of quiet in the first half, and he was able to pick up the sack.
Yeah, one-on-one at the bottom of the screen, Terrell Suggs against Luke Joeckel. And this was a big part of this. I thought Joeckel was in good shape, but it was just Suggs falling inside. Bortles is trying to escape. Didn't like what he saw downfield. Tries to escape, but Suggs making an athletic move, getting off the block, making a play.
You teach him that dance?
I haven't taught Suggs anything.
Second down and 13. First sack of the day. Second sack of the day. Timmy Jernigan. Well, we had mentioned a little while ago that both Jernigan and Suggs were kind of quiet. Well, they're starting to bubble a little bit.
You know, this is just a pure effort sack inside. You see Timmy Jernigan initially gets double teamed, And then when the double team comes off, he has a great swim move to get upfield, 2 back-to-back impact plays.
Wearing number 99 for the first time here in 2016 as Yeldon gets up to the 26, somewhat conservative by the Jags. Jernigan with his 3rd sack, Suggs with his 2nd sack, and the defense makes the stop they needed, up by 2 with 9.5 to play.
You know, we just talked about how Bortles seemed like a different quarterback after halftime, and that he came out with a lot of confidence, was making very quick decisions, but he was very hesitant on that drive, and multiple times not liking the look, and it didn't look like he knew where to go next, and he tried to escape, tried to make something happen, but the Ravens making big plays.
Here's Devin Hester coming up. He's going to get good field position. He calls for the fair catch, fumbles the ball. It's recovered by Jacksonville. The great hands of Devin Hester, unable to corral the punt, but the solid hands of Denard Robinson were there to clean it up.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen with Devin Hester. But now special teams making an important imprint on this game, especially for Jacksonville. Remember, their first touchdown of the game came off a great Rashad Green punt return that gave him great field position. And now here you go. You get a start inside your Baltimore's 40-yard line. So special teams making a huge impact.
Devin Hester, arguably the best return man in history.
Well, it's not arguable. It is.
On first down for the 39. Bortles to Ivory, bumps into his own lineman trying to get outside, and is able to manage a couple yards.
Just didn't look it in. Just a little lapse of concentration, and boy, big play.
Very out of character for Devin Hester.
Oh, he had such a big impact last week.
He sure did. 14 career punt return touchdowns, 5 career kick return touchdowns. On second down, Bortles, straight drop. Middle of the field, Mercedes Lewis. They'll mark him at the 31-yard line. Zach Orr was there to take him down. So it's a manageable third down after a gain of 7 for the Jags.
And they've been extremely good on third down so far today. It's been really, when you look at it, it's been Allen Robinson and Marquise Lee have been the primary targets. Now, it'll be interesting. I think you got to put Jimmy Smith on Allen Robinson on this snap. And I think if he goes on Robinson now, Bortles has to go and find somebody else to try and get open. You see bunch formation here. That's to try and get the Ravens out of man-to-man coverage.
Rashad Green in motion to the outside from the shotgun is Bortles. Middle of the field. Jernigan tips it high in the air, and it's incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Timmy Jernigan playing in front of friends and family here in the Jacksonville area.
Boy, that another great play. He had Robinson underneath on a shallow cross. This was open. This was going to be a first down. But again, you saw C.J. Mosley do it a couple third downs ago on a batted pass, and then Timmy Jernigan off of the pass rush, getting his hands up and making another impact play.
49-yard field goal attempt by Myers. Good hold. The kick is on its way. It is good. Off the fumble by Devin Hester, the Jags take the lead 17-16. Special teams playing a role. Hester's fumble recovered by Robinson leads to 3 for Jacksonville. Greatest day of the year, Adam. Team photo day. The 2016 photo was taken yesterday. They have a couple of voids in there. Aaron Colvin, who's suspended, and Devon House, who was sick. They're going to Photoshop those 2 guys in.
And good for those guys, because that, you have no idea how long that picture takes.
It looked really fast how long it took.
And I know those guys were hot. They were miserable.
Well, Jacksonville has taken a 1-point lead on a 49-yard field goal by Myers. Baltimore will get it back. 7:27 to play here in the 4th quarter. Devin Hester lets it go out of bounds. So the Ravens down by 1. Here's Joe Flacco going back to work when we return. Here at Jacksonville, the Jags lead it by 1, 17-16. But Baltimore with the ball, 7:27 to play. See the scored by quarters. The 6 points that Baltimore scored at the end of the second half. The field goal was huge, the 6th point. But they trail it by 1. 25 come from behind victories for the Ravens. Joe Flacco last week was the 2nd largest comeback in franchise history. Today, if they come from behind, it won't be as big, but the win would be huge. Flacco to throw on first down. Passes complete to West, and then he dropped it going out of bounds. So he never had possession and then became a receiver. Telvin Smith was there to strip it, but there's a flag down.
Offense number 79. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
All right, Ronnie Stanley, the rookie, called for a penalty, a holding penalty. That'll move the ball back.
Well, another mistake. This must be 3 drives in a row. Ronnie Stanley here, who had a false start on the previous drive. And that is a clear hold on Dante Fowler. And 3 drives in a row now, 3 big mistakes. And I think, one of the things when you look at this Baltimore football team, you can say big reason why they're sitting here at 2-0 this year is because they haven't made mistakes in their first 2 ball games, and so far coming out in the second half have not been sharp.
8 penalties for 58 yards this afternoon. First down for the 15. Middle of the field pass is complete to Steve Smith Sr. He was able to get himself up toward the 30. Big gain. Posluszny in on the tackle.
That is a big gain. To gain back all of that yardage, and really it's been, Steve Smith has really been the most explosive part of their offense today. It's the 2nd time now on an underneath route he's been able to get upfield and get extra yards, but puts them now where they were in bad shape. 1st and 20, 2nd and 5 is a whole lot better.
5 catches, 73 yards, make it 6 catches, and he hangs on even though they're trying to strip the football away. Deshaun Gibson in on the tackle and the coverage.
You're not seeing a lot of variety defensively from Jacksonville. They've played it pretty vanilla here in this game, and it seems like they've come in with the attitude that they want to simplify things and they want Baltimore to earn it. And the last thing they can do is give up big plays and make Flacco and the offense drive down the length of the field, and so far I think they've succeeded in doing that.
6 minutes left to play here in the 4th quarter. And that is West, who pinballs to the 40. They might give him forward progress to the 41. Jonathan Cyprien makes the tackle. He and Telvin Smith were there. They're celebrating, but that was still a good run for Terrence West.
Oh. Yeah, Telvin Smith.
Well, yeah, he did get hit pretty good.
He goes low, and then Cyprien comes in. Man!
Your head is spinning when the second guy is there to get you.
Look, Jonathan Cyprien has played a physical ball game today. I think he's had one of the best games, probably the best game he's played in this year.
Flacco on 2nd down, throws to Pitta. It's deflected and intercepted to Sean Gibson off the deflection. The first interception of the year for the Jags, and it takes the ball inside the 35-yard line.
Well, I think Jalen Ramsey drops off. Yep, Jalen Ramsey drops off of his coverage. Flacco throws the ball behind Pitta. It looked like they were confused from the start. And then to Sean Gibson, the former Cleveland Brown, who came in here with 14 interceptions over the last 2 years. The reason why they brought him on this defense is there to pick off the overthrow. That is a huge play. A great job by Gibson to get over there, but Jalen Ramsey is the guy that came off his coverage that forced the tip to Gibson.
The ever-emerging Jalen Ramsey. It's first down for the Jags from the 31. The handoff is given to Ivory. Not a lot there, and he has taken down a loss of 2. Good pursuit defensively by Baltimore to slow him up, and now an injured Raven on the field. That looks like Zadarius Smith, who's down on the field. Flacco has taken a peek at that interception. So they'll take care of Smith. We'll take care of a break. We'll be back. Those are the Sharks from the Ponte Vedra Athletic Association. Little football yesterday. Our guy Hardy, our camera operator, was deeply involved in the plays. He was setting picks for some of the kids while he was out videoing. Speaking of picks, let's take a look at this pick thrown by Joe Flacco.
It's really a great play by Jalen Ramsey because this is not his man. They're trying to hit Pitta right here in the seam. And Ramsey the entire time is watching the ball. This ball is behind Pitta. And you see the late reaction. That tips the ball. Tashawn Gibson is breaking on the football. And that's what great free safeties do. If it's tipped, if it's overthrown, that ball's going to come down in his hands. And boy, he says, if I don't get 6 or 7 interceptions this year, they shouldn't have brought me. This guy knows how to go and get the football and came down with a big play. Biggest play of the season for this defense.
All right, under 5 minutes to play. It's 2nd and 12. The handoff is to Ivory. Down to the 31-yard line. Gain of a couple. Do you want them to be conservative here and chew up the clock? I mean, I know that they're getting close to Myers' money in the bank field goal range.
Now, you know, this is, I mean, you talk about it all the time. You want a 4-minute offense. You know, this is where your running game has to come through. I mean, this is why you want to have a grinding running game, because you don't want to give you don't want to give Baltimore the ball back. There's no reason why Flacco and this offense can't go down the field and score if you give them enough time. You have to find a way to get a first down.
Yeah, particularly if they have 3 timeouts left. That ball is deflected and it's intercepted right back to the Ravens.
I think it's Timmy Jernigan again. Boy, I think it's Timmy Jernigan. You're going to see right here, is that number 9? Number 99 on an inside stunt, and he gets his hand up at the last moment. Just an unbelievable play. And Tavon Young, who had the big punt return last week, or the big extra point block last week for 2 points, does a Tashawn Gibson impersonation. It comes down with a tip ball. What a Timmy Jernigan.
Having a great 4th quarter.
Back-to-back impact plays for this defense. And now here you go. Flacco has a chance.
Handoff by Flacco. They'll run on 1st down. Coming up next, the action keeps flowing as the Steelers tough it out with the Eagles. What a test for Carson Wentz. Where the Jets challenge the Chiefs and the Chargers tackle the Colts. Check local listings. We met with Brandon Williams yesterday, and Williams was talking about Timmy Jernigan because Jernigan is from right around this neck of the woods. He said he's a pit bull. He doesn't stop. He said it's going to be like Friday night lights for him, playing in front of mom and dad and the rest of his family.
You don't see a lot of defensive tackles with the movement skills of Williams and Jernigan.
2nd down and a little less than 9, 3.5 to play. Flacco with plenty of time left and plenty of timeouts. His ball is deflected and intercepted by Posluszny. And flags come flying because of a little excessive shoving and celebrating. We have deflections all over the field. That's why they work on the tip drills in practice every week.
Well, this is all outside pass rush. This is your playmakers on the edge. Fowler and Ngakoue getting to Flacco. And I think it was Fowler who got the arm on Flacco and forced the bad ball. Fowler coming on the right side of your screen, working on Wagner. He hits Flacco's arm, and then Paul Posluszny aggressively attacks the football, number 56. Coming around with that left arm and just hits Flacco's right arm, forces the bad pass. You know, I would say Fowler has had an interesting game. But that's why they drafted him as high as they drafted him, so he can go after the quarterback. And that was a much-needed play for this defense.
15 career interceptions for Paul Posluszny. 2nd pick of the day for the Jags. They talked about turnovers, how important they were coming into the season. because they didn't force turnovers last year. They just didn't do it.
Well, they had 0 interceptions from their free safeties last season. Paul Posluszny, I think, had 3 of them last year. He had more than their safeties did. But that's what you expect from your young pass rush. Your speed guys, Fowler and Ngakoue, getting to the quarterback.
No, the officials are still talking about the extracurricular activity that took place after the interception. There were a whole host of guys that were in the middle. We've had 3 straight interceptions. 2 picks picked off by the Jaguars and 1 by the Ravens. Flag is sitting at the 29-yard line. All right, here we go. Take a look at what happened after the interception. Steve Smith got pushed in. Oh, you got to be careful. He hit it to the head linesman.
Yeah. He went.
After the interception, there are dead ball fouls by both. First dead ball personal foul is on 89, the original offense. The other dead ball foul is by 20 of the intercepting team. The fouls will offset. It will be 1st and 10 Jacksonville.
When we were down on the field before, Ed Walker, who is the line judge, or the head linesman, I should say, he was walking around. He said hello to everybody, took some pictures with some fans. He's not a small fella. And Steve Smith went right into him. So now Bortles from the 29 on 1st down with 3:20 to play. Got to milk the clock here if you're the Jags.
You got it. Back-to-back turnovers. Unreal.
Handoff goes to Ivory. Mosley slows him down. And a timeout called by Baltimore.
First charge timeout.
First charge timeout for the Ravens. 3:16 left on the 4th quarter clock. Where there's Myers warming up on the sidelines. His leg may come into effect to try to make this a 4-point game and make the life of Joe Flacco a little harder with 3:16 to play here in the 4th quarter. It's 2nd down from the 29. Alan Hearns in motion. Bortles off the play fake finds Hearns, who's down at the 25. Eric Weddle was coming right into the face mask of Bortles. Gain of 4.
Yeah, they're just trying to be as conservative as possible. And smart play call, I think, for Greg Olsen to make sure that you try and eliminate as many defenders as possible and get Bortles outside on the edge.
Well, how about what we've just witnessed over the last several minutes? It begins with a Devin Hester muffed punt, and Denard Robinson falls on top of it. That doesn't often happen. Then Jalen Ramsey with this tip, and the tip pass is intercepted by Tashawn Gibson. And then Jernigan's tip, and that ball is picked off by the Ravens and Tavon Young. But then on the next play, Flacco is hit by Fowler, and Posluszny comes up with the interception. I mean, that's all in a matter of...
That's in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, that's all in a matter of minutes.
Jacksonville has not had a lot of turnovers in the last 2 seasons, so this is new territory for them.
Oh, for their last 4 on 3rd down, Bortles looking to convert, and he goes down. That was Lawrence Guy.
Charge timeout. Baltimore.
And Baltimore uses its final timeout. This is part of what we talked to Bortles about last week, is when there's a sack that knocks you out of field goal range or makes it a tougher field goal, you got to get rid of it. But I don't know if he had time to get rid of it.
Well, this is a tough one because I think Lawrence Guy here runs right over A.J. Cann, the right guard. And I'm not sure that he blows right through there. A.J. Cann just opens up the gate. He gets his body vertical, and I don't think Bortles had any chance whatsoever. He didn't even know that was coming.
So this will be a 52-yard field goal attempt for Myers. His career long is 58. He's made 26, 39, and 50 this year. He had a 54-yarder that was no good. 52-yard field goal attempt. Nortman is the holder. Good snap, good hold, and it's blocked! And it's picked up at the 32-yard line by Baltimore. That is the 10th blocked kick since 2014 by the Ravens. the most in the National Football League. It's incredible how good their special teams has been in that category.
Well, you know, it really is. That right side of the Ravens defense completely collapsed. I think that was Brent Urban, number 96, who came in and got a hand on that ball. But special teams in the Ravens 2 weeks in a row with a block. Last week it was an extra point. This week a field goal.
And Orr was able to recover it. First pass to Steve Smith Sr. out of bounds. This is last week. Special teams is such a huge factor for the Ravens.
So that was Lawrence Guy. That was his fourth blocked kick of his career. The rookie Tavon Young goes in there, gets the extra 2 points. That was a big part of that game. I think when you look at it, boy, the defensive line, the defensive front in the last 2 series for Baltimore, when their backs were against the wall, have come through with huge plays for this team.
Second down for Flacco, dumps it off, little check down right toward midfield. And they'll be about a yard or two shy of the first down. It went to Forsett, and Forsett was tackled by Devon House. No timeouts left for Baltimore. They used all their timeouts on the defensive end to preserve the clock and preserve it for Tucker.
Yeah, they shouldn't be an issue right here. Right there, Jacksonville, they know they've got to make sure that they don't get into field goal range. It's pretty amazing, all the chances with great field position, and they walk away with 0 points because of the defensive line of the Ravens.
Third down, Flacco quickly to the outside. His receiver fell down. It was Mike Wallace. It'll be incomplete, 4-down territory.
Man, third and short, man-on-man press coverage. Wallace against House. House in pretty good shape, but can't catch a ball if you can't come out of your break. And there you go, fourth down. Fourth down has not been kind to John Harbaugh this season.
0 for 2 on fourth down conversions. They bring in Juszczyk, the fullback. They also bring in Crockett Gilmore. Juszczyk is off to the near side. The All-Pro. 2 receivers left, 2 right. Flacco from the shotgun on fourth down. Throws left, passes complete left for a first down. Again, it's Steve Smith Sr. And that'll wind us down to the 2-minute warning. Well, they needed a fourth down conversion, and they got it. Joe Flacco, the veteran, going to the veteran Steve Smith Sr. We'll be back right after this. To the left is Brent Urban. He's the one who blocked the field goal attempt from Jason Myers. Jerry Rosberg, who's the special teams coach for the Ravens, has got to be through the roof with excitement the way his special teams has played this year. And it's allowed the Ravens now to have it 1st and 10 at the 2-minute warning from the 44-yard line of Jacksonville. They're getting toward Justin Tucker's field goal range. Not there yet.
They only need about 5 yards.
I was thinking that. Flacco out of the shotgun, hands the ball off. It's Forsett, who's inside the 40 to the 38. Again, the Ravens have no timeouts left, but that's really not a factor at this point.
Timeouts right now are meaningless, and I think you got to start having a conversation here
to use them
about, Gus Bradley and Jacksonville on whether or not you want to preserve some time on the clock.
10 career game-winning field goals made in the last 2 minutes for the second most accurate kicker in NFL history behind Dan Bailey. Jacksonville does have 3 timeouts left. It's 2nd down and 4. Flacco is using as much time as he possibly can. Little pitch to Forsett. Forsett is hit behind the line of scrimmage and just spun down. Dante Fowler was in the backfield, and a timeout called by Jacksonville.
30-second timeout.
So 1:13 left. Well, since 2014, the Jaguars with the most losses after holding a lead with 16.
And it's pretty, again, when you look back and you say you got turnovers in the fourth quarter in positive territory, and you just didn't come away with any points. Yep. You got to look at that and say we did everything to put ourselves in this situation. This is a tough place to be right here because, it looks like Baltimore is reserved to just play for the field goal and put it in their kicker's hands. So you're not going to see a passing play. And you would think Jacksonville, if they get a pass play, they want to blitz to try and knock them out of field goal range. There's not much you can do to push a team back when they're going to just run the ball.
High formation. Flacco is going to throw, and he throws it to Juszczyk to the 35. He's a yard shy of the first down. It'll be 4th and 1. And Jacksonville uses another timeout. Here comes Tucker.
Second charge timeout. Jacksonville.
With 1:06 to play.
Timeout. With the game clock.
Well, this will be about a 55-yard field goal attempt for Tucker. We'll just see where they line up. It might even be inside that. Yeah, it's going to be closer to 53 yards. Morgan Cox is the long snapper. Sam Cook, the veteran, is the holder. And Justin Tucker, the 5th-year pro out of Texas, is the kind of guy that will tweet out to fans that he's going to go kick at Patterson Park in Baltimore, and he needs folks to come shag kicks for him. He needs nobody to shag here. A 53-yard field goal attempt to give the Ravens the lead with 1:07 to play. From the near hash. Well within his range. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way. End over end. It is good. And the Ravens by plenty from Tucker take a 2-point lead. Their special teams set it up. And now with 1:02 to play, Baltimore is going to try to nurse a 2-point lead.
You know, it's so interesting, Tom, how special teams have played a part in this game, because Jacksonville gets a special teams turnover. They get the fumble punt in positive territory. But let's go back before halftime. Let's go back to the Dante Fowler and the penalty for jumping over the line and giving Tucker an extra chance and putting 3 more points on the board. And then Baltimore kicking or blocking another field goal.
Right.
So you would think that Jacksonville, because the turnover in the 4th quarter off of a punt return, they have the advantage. But it's those little details. And those little details often mean the difference between winning and losing these tight games.
Well, Myers is hoping, like Tucker in the first half when he got a second chance, Myers is hoping that he gets another chance. We've seen Tucker on kickoffs today kick it inside the 10-yard line and force Corey Grant to run it out.
But I just think the 3 points before halftime, just huge, because that is, you can say there's 3 points that shouldn't have been there.
Absolutely. Ball hits the upright on the left side, so Blake Bortles, 1:02 to play here in the 4th quarter, down by 2. We welcome those of you who just watched the Oakland Raiders defeat the Tennessee Titans here in Jacksonville, along with Adam Archuleta and Chris Fisher. I'm Tom McCarthy. Baltimore leads at 19-17 with 1:02 to play. Blake Bortles with 1 timeout tries to lead the Jaguars into field goal range. TJ Yeldon is stood up at the 31. It's a gain of 6. They'll go with the no-huddle offense with under a minute to play.
Well, you can't check the ball down. You got to start hitting shots down the field.
And Bortles steps up in the pocket. He's hit and gets away. Still with some life, looking for somebody, and he's taken down. He's got to get rid of the football. Suggs with the sack.
Big.
32 seconds to play and a timeout called by Jacksonville.
Charge timeout. Jacksonville. A 30-second timeout.
He talks about the mental clock. All quarterbacks talk about it. Get rid of the football.
Boy, situational football. You know, they're in a situation right here where you cannot check the ball down. They have to take shots down the field. And you can see that they're trying to run 4 vertical routes. You got receivers here, here, here. Nobody really where to go. You got Weddle over the top taking care of the vertical route. Linebackers underneath. But right here, you just cannot take that sack and waste your last time out. That is a critical mistake.
So now 3rd down and 11 with 32 seconds left. Bortles drops back to pass. Pressure's coming again. He just dumps it off. There's a flag, and they're going to get holding against Jacksonville as Yeldon goes out of bounds. 26 seconds left, and it is just unraveling right now for the Jags.
I think it's Jeremy Parnell. And he
Holding.
holds Matt Judon.
Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty. Replay third down.
Right there. Right tackle, Jeremy Parnell. And you can see that's a hook around the neck. And boy.
Well, if they were going to try a field goal attempt, they need to get to the 40 or the 41 of Baltimore. But they got to go forward here because they're going the wrong way. Bortles drops back to pass, middle of the field, and it is tipped and intercepted by Zach Orr. That'll do it as Zach Orr slides down into the side the 40-yard line. Another tip, this one by Webb, and Zach Orr, right place, right time.
You know, it's tough to blame Bortles right there because you have no choice. You're sitting there at 3rd and long. You have to make a play down the field. Baltimore's playing deep. The linebackers are deep. The safeties are over the top. You have no more timeouts, and you're trying to make a play down the field, and the Ravens secondary just all over it. Linebackers have just been exceptional today in the passing game for the Baltimore Ravens, and that is a bad sequence in the 2-minute drill for Jacksonville, and wait for the Ravens to go win it in the 4th quarter.
5 total turnovers this quarter, 3 interceptions for Blake Bortles this afternoon, and the Baltimore Ravens will hang on and win it 19-17, the first time since 2009. They're off to a 3-0 start. The final score, Ravens 19, Jaguars 17. Coming up next, game 2 of our doubleheader. For Adam Archuleta and Chris Fisher, this is Tom McCarthy saying so long from Jacksonville. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Now it's time for the NFL Today update. Let's go to James Brown in New York.
Well, I'm reminded by what Coach